He wore the badge like a crown. Untouchable. Untouchable. That is what everyone said. Until the day he brought the wrong woman to court. She looked harmless. Quiet. Just another witness in another case he thought he had already won. But what she carried in her purse would destroy everything he built. Because buried in her silence was a secret he thought he buried years ago. A secret with a name. Her brother's. And once she opened her mouth, there would be no turning back. What happens when a corrupt officer finally meets someone more dangerous than him? Stay with this story. Because every twist will leave you breathless. And the ending? You will never see it coming. Hit play. And do not look away. Detective Marshall Klein was the kind of man who filled a courtroom with quiet fear. Tall. Iron-backed. Voice like gravel soaked in bourbon. He wore his badge like a crown. No one dared challenge him. Not in court. Not in the streets of Elmswood, North Carolina. Not until her. Her name was Leah Marin. 35. Unassuming. Soft-spoken. She walked into the courtroom that morning wearing a navy blue sweater and black slacks. Nothing flashy. Nothing threatening. At first glance, she looked like every other witness Klein had put away. But the way she looked at him, calm, unblinking, made the air feel colder. She was testifying in a drug case. One Klein had built over months. He claimed Leah's neighbor, Kevin Dorsey, was a key supplier in a growing fentanyl ring. Klein had been the hero of the raid. Confiscated pills. Weapons. Money. He made sure the headlines praised him. Leah's name was buried in a footnote. The prosecution smiled as she took the stand. Klein did not. Not anymore. She took the oath. Her fingers trembled slightly. But her voice was steady. I was home that night, she said. Windows open. I saw everything. The defense leaned forward. Klein's jaw locked. Her eyes swept across the courtroom. Detective Klein broke the lock himself. Silence. The judge leaned forward. Come again. Leah's voice sharpened. He kicked in the door. No warrant in hand. He did not even knock. He planted the duffel bag under the bed. Klein's face turned to stone. The courtroom buzzed. Objection, the prosecutor barked. The judge banged the gavel. Order. But Leah kept going. The man living there, Kevin, he was not home. I saw Klein go into the house alone. 10 minutes later, he came out with a bag of pills he did not take in with him. The prosecutor was sweating. So was Klein. He stood. Eyes on Leah. She did not flinch. You are lying, he said coldly. Her gaze sharpened. You think your badge protects you. But I recorded everything. She reached into her purse. Held up a flash drive. I was scared. But I knew what I saw. The judge's face was unreadable. Ms. Marin, are you prepared to submit that recording into evidence? Leah nodded. Klein lunged. 2 bailiffs jumped to restrain him. He cursed. Spat. Shouted threats. The courtroom erupted. The flash drive landed in the judge's hands. Silence fell again. Heavy. Oppressive. The judge turned to Klein. You are hereby placed under immediate investigation. Klein's shoulders sank. For the first time, he looked small. Not untouchable. Not powerful. Just a man cornered by his own lies. Leah stepped down from the stand. Her hands were no longer trembling. Klein locked eyes with her one last time. Hatred burned in his glare. But there was something else. Fear. She had unraveled him. With the truth. With a quiet voice and a memory he underestimated. But Leah was not finished. Not yet. Because the flash drive was only part of what she had. The judge ordered recess. Courtroom emptied. Tension clung to the walls like smoke. Outside, reporters swarmed. Microphones reached for Leah. She said nothing. Just clutched her purse. Held it like armor. Inside it was the real weapon. A second flash drive. Not handed over. Not yet. That night, Leah sat in her car. Parked outside a gas station on Highway 19. Rain drizzled. Streetlights flickered. She stared at the glove box. Opened it slowly. Inside was a prepaid phone. No SIM. She powered it on. One message. Drop location secured. Upload when ready. She typed back. Tomorrow. After the trial continues. The phone beeped. You sure you are safe? She paused. Typed. Not yet. But I will be. The second flash drive held more than just the raid footage. It held audio. From Klein's own body cam. Files he thought were deleted. Wiped. But nothing truly disappears. Not when Leah's brother, Julian, was a systems tech for the Elmswood police. Not when he died under strange circumstances. A staged overdose. No investigation. Closed in 2 days. Klein signed the death report himself. Called it an internal tragedy. Leah never believed it. Now, she had proof. The body cam caught Klein the night Julian died. Caught his voice. His threats. And the words that chilled her to the bone. You should have kept your mouth shut, Jules. Click. Silence. Then a body hitting the floor. That file was time-stamped. 2 hours before the overdose report. Leah leaned back in her seat. Her breath fogged the window. This was not just about court anymore. It was about everything Klein buried. Everything he thought no one would ever dig up. But Leah did. And she was not alone. She looked in the mirror. A black SUV was parked 2 cars behind. Windows tinted. Unmoving. Her heart skipped. She reached for the flash drive. Started the engine. The SUV's headlights turned on. She drove. Fast. Sharp turns. Red lights blurred past. The SUV followed. Tire for tire. She turned off onto an old service road. Gravel cracked under her wheels. The SUV stayed close. Too close. She slammed the brakes. Dust flew. The SUV swerved. Stopped. For a moment, silence. Then the driver door opened. A man stepped out. Not Klein. Someone else. Taller. Leather jacket. Gloves. No badge. He walked slowly. Deliberate. Leah locked her doors. He reached into his pocket. Pulled out a phone. Raised it. Klein's number flashed on the screen. He turned the phone around. Showed her a message. Get the drive. No witnesses. Leah's blood ran cold. She grabbed the prepaid phone. Typed one word. Now. Sent it. The man moved toward her door. Tapped the glass. Smile cold as winter. Then. A flash of red and blue in the distance. Sirens. 2 squad cars tore down the road. The man froze. Looked back. then vanished into the trees. Leah exhaled hard. One of the officers ran to her window. "Ma'am, are you Leah Marin?" She nodded. He held up a radio. "Federal agent wants to speak with you." The voice crackled. "Leah, this is Agent Bauer. We need to talk. About Klein." Her hands were shaking again. But she smiled. Just a little. Because now, the game had changed. And Klein was not the only one being hunted. Leah sat in the back of the cruiser. The door clicked shut. Agent Bauer's voice came through the front radio again. "Do not let her out of your sight." The officer nodded and started the engine. Leah stared through the rain-specked window. She clutched her purse. Fingers wrapped tight around the second flash drive. The cruiser turned back toward town. Behind them, the woods swallowed the road. And the man in the leather jacket was gone. But Leah knew he would be back. They always come back when someone like Klein is desperate. At the federal office, she was led into a glass-walled conference room. Clean. Bright. Too bright. Agent Bauer entered moments later. Tall. Silver hair. Sharp eyes that scanned her like a document. He wore no smile. Only tension. He dropped a folder on the table. "Leah, you have no idea how far this goes." She opened the folder. Photos. Names. Dates. Redacted reports. Bauer pointed to one face. "You recognize him?" Leah flinched. It was Julian. But younger. Beside him, Detective Klein. Bauer tapped again. "This was taken 7 years ago. Your brother was part of something. An undercover unit. Internal affairs." Leah looked up, confused. "No one ever told me that." Bauer's eyes darkened. They were told not to. Because his death was not just a tragedy. It was a message. The words hit like a punch to the gut. Leah whispered, "He was trying to expose Klein." Bauer nodded. "Among others." He slid a second photo forward. Another man in uniform. Dark eyes. Crooked smile. "Do you know this man?" She shook her head. "Chief Calder. Klein's mentor." "Klein is not the top. He is a weapon. Calder is the hand behind him." Leah swallowed hard. "So what now?" Bauer leaned in. "We make it public. We release what you have. All of it. Tonight." Leah hesitated. Her voice wavered. "They will come after me. They already did." Bauer opened a drawer. Pulled out a small black box. Inside, a new identity packet. Fake name. Documents. Plane ticket. "To Denver," he said. "We protect you from there." Leah stared at it. Then at the flash drive. She made her decision. "No. I am not running. I want to watch him fall." Bauer sat back. Studied her. Finally, he nodded. But he warned her. "Then you better be ready. Because once this is out, there is no going back." They released the footage to a secure press outlet. Encrypted. Verified. Footage of the raid. Klein's voice. Julian's final moments. Within hours, it spread like wildfire. And the fallout began. The mayor issued a statement. The Elmswood Police Department went silent. Klein's house was surrounded by press. He never came out. But Leah knew where he would go. The courthouse. His kingdom. His fortress. And that was where she waited the next morning. Same navy sweater. Same calm face. Only this time, she was not alone. Dozens stood beside her. Reporters. Protesters. FBI agents in plain clothes. Klein arrived just after dawn. Sunglasses. Unshaven. He saw her from the steps. Stopped cold. Then he walked forward. One step at a time. No badge on his belt. No gun at his side. Just rage in his eyes. He whispered as he passed her. "This is not over." Leah leaned in. Neither was she smiling. "This is just the beginning." The courtroom was packed. Cameras lined the back wall. The judge's bench stood tall. Unyielding. The crowd murmured as Klein entered. No uniform. No allies. Only a thin, gray suit that clung to him like regret. He sat at the defense table. Alone. His lawyer had quit the night before. Could not stomach the case. Leah sat behind the prosecution. Eyes locked forward. No emotion. No fear. Only focus. Agent Bauer stood beside the district attorney. The judge entered. All rose. The gavel dropped. State versus Marshall Klein. Charges include evidence tampering, perjury, obstruction of justice, and suspicion of second-degree murder. Klein said nothing. His jaw twitched. The DA stood. "We have submitted video and audio footage. Verified." The judge nodded. "Let the jury be seated." But before the jury could enter, Klein stood. His voice cracked the silence. "I have something to say." The judge looked down. "You will speak through counsel." Klein shook his head. "No counsel. I am speaking now." Leah tensed. Every eye turned toward him. "I did what I had to do." His voice rose. "You think you know what it is like? Keeping this city from burning? You sit behind desks. Watch from cameras. Judge every move like you live in the trenches. I stopped monsters. I became one for this city." Leah stood slowly. The judge banged the gavel. "Ms. Marin, sit down." She did not. Her voice rang out. "You were not stopping monsters. You were burying them. And anyone who stood in your way." The courtroom held its breath. Klein laughed. Short. Bitter. "You think you are safe now? You think bringing me down changes anything? They are still out there. Chief Calder. Captain Ewan. The others. I was just their shield. They will burn this place down before they fall." The judge ordered him restrained. But his words lingered. Like smoke after a fire. Outside, the air felt different. Thicker. Heavy with something unseen. Leah exited the courthouse through a side door. A note was waiting on her windshield. One line. Typed. No signature. The badge was just the beginning. "You opened the wrong door." She looked around. No one. Not yet. She called Bauer. Someone left a message. He was silent. Then said quietly, "I was afraid of this. There is more. We have to move. Now." But Leah was already walking. Back into the courthouse. Back into the storm. Because she had come too far to run now. And if more doors were opening, she was ready to walk through every one of them. The courthouse halls were quieter now. But not silent. Leah's heels clicked against the marble floors. Sharp. Steady. Somewhere behind her, a door shut. Too softly. She did not turn. Not yet. She walked straight toward the archives room, where evidence files were kept, where digital records were backed up, where her brother's personnel file had once vanished without a trace. A security guard noticed her. "Ma'am, that room is off limits." She flashed a temporary clearance card, issued by Agent Bauer that morning. The guard hesitated, then stepped aside. Inside, the air was colder. Lights buzzed faintly overhead. Rows of locked cabinets stretched out like tombstones. Leah moved to the far wall, typed in the access code. The cabinet clicked open. Inside, an old, unlabeled hard drive, wrapped in plastic. Exactly where Julian had said it would be. In his last encrypted email to her, sent just days before his death. The subject line had read, "If something happens to me, find this." She tucked the drive into her coat pocket. Turned. Stopped. A shadow moved at the far end of the room. Tall. Still. Not Bauer. Not security. "Who's there?" Silence. Then a slow step forward. Out of the dark emerged a man. Gray suit. Red tie. Face lined with age and calculation. She knew the face from a dozen photos. Chief Calder. The real puppeteer. His eyes studied her like a chessboard. "You have been busy," he said. Leah did not speak. "You think a few files will bring it all down?" His tone was calm. Like he was offering her a chance to stop. To walk away. Leah met his gaze. "No. But it is a start." He took a step closer. Julian was a good kid. Too good. He asked too many questions. Her breath caught. "You killed him." Calder's smile barely moved. "I kept the city safe." He made that harder. She reached into her coat slowly. Not for a weapon, but for the flash drive. Calder saw it. Tensed. She tossed it to the floor between them. He flinched. She smiled. "That is not the only copy." He stepped forward. But before he could reach it, a voice rang out from the hallway. "Step away from her." Bauer entered. Gun raised. Two agents flanked him. Calder froze. But the look in his eyes was not fear. It was calculation. He turned his palms outward. Smirked. "You have no idea what you are unleashing." Bauer approached slowly. "And you have no idea how long we have been watching you." Leah stepped back. Bauer cuffed Calder without a word. The agents swept the archives. Secured the drive. The moment passed. But the feeling lingered. Something bigger had shifted. Back outside, as Calder was loaded into an unmarked vehicle, Bauer stood beside Leah. "The files you found, they do not just name Calder. They name federal officials. Judges. Even senators." Her stomach turned. Julian knew. Bauer nodded. And they silenced him for it. But now, they failed. She looked up at the courthouse windows. The sky behind them turned gray. Overcast. A storm was coming. Bauer said, "We need to go to D.C." Leah nodded. Then paused. "What if this goes deeper than even you know?" He looked at her, dead serious. "It does. And that is why we need you alive. Because this is not over. It is just beginning." 3 weeks later. Washington, D.C. The city buzzed with quiet panic behind polished windows. Leah sat in a nondescript federal building. 4th floor. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Agent Bauer entered with a thick file in his hand. He dropped it on the table. Photographs. Bank records. Call logs. Signed affidavits. All of it's confirmed, he said. Everything your brother died trying to expose. Calder. Klein. Judges. Even a U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania. Operation Iron Silence, Bauer added. Now declassified. Thanks to you. Leah exhaled. But it did not feel like relief. Not yet. She looked out the window. Capitol Dome in the distance. Do you ever wonder, she asked, how many more are still hidden? Bauer paused. Then said quietly, every day. A beat of silence passed. Then he pushed an envelope toward her. Inside, an official letter. U.S. Department of Justice. Permanent protective status. New identity. New location. But this time, she slid it back. No more hiding. I want to live under my name. Leah Marin. Bauer smiled faintly. You sure? They will not all go quietly. She nodded. I am counting on that. He stood. Offered a hand. Then this part of your story ends here. And the rest is yours to write. Leah walked out into the autumn wind. Leaves rustled at her feet. A quiet, defiant breeze in the capital of power. She reached into her bag. Pulled out her brother's badge. Cracked. Scratched. But real. She held it a moment. Then tucked it away. Not to forget. But to remember. Truth takes time. Justice takes blood. And sometimes, even a single voice can bring down an empire. This story is finished. But the echoes will never be silenced.